here because it takes a couple of seconds. Welcome to Conversations with Ladies Who Launch. I am Anthea Cutler, your mindset coach for women in business. And today I have the gorgeous Michelle Aspinwall with me. Michelle is, I don't even know what you just said.
Shall I say
You just gave me this beautiful spiel. I actually follow Michelle and I just would call her like a hormone legend. Or anyone who menopausal hormone legend. But what was the intro that you gave me?
You're so funny. Oh, hi, Anthea. It's so great to be here. So hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Aspinwall. I'm an age alchemist, specializing in hormones, particularly perimenopause. So that's like 38 to 53. That's the secret sauce, my special favorite time in life. And because that's where I am right now, I'm on the back end of it. And also I'm an integrative biohacker. So I help women hack into their system to help heal their bodies and truly walk through this incredible portal into the next priestess stage of life, which I happen to think is going to be outstanding.
That's amazing. And but that is a way more articulate intro than the one I gave you. I'm so sorry. But I love Michelle's work and I love all of the juicy wisdom. Like for anyone who hasn't followed Michelle, she has the most generous, juicy stuff on how to feed your body for your hormones. And it's just incredible. So Michelle will share more about that at the end of this conversation. But if you have not followed Michelle, like she is definitely a lady for you to check out.
Thank you.
So my first question, darling, is how would you introduce yourself the way, like if you were to introduce yourself the way that you would love to hear your ideal clients talk about you if you're a fly on the wall? What would it be? What would you love to hear them say about you?
That's a good one. Ooh. Okay, getting into the mind of my ideal client. I think what I would love to hear from any woman who has ever worked with me or potentially will work with me in the future is that they come into my world and they believe that hormones and their body is sort of happening at them, and that by the time they interact with me, either in a free or a paid situation, that they have literally changed their mind about not only how their body works, but how much power they have in influencing how their body works. And the other thing I'm like really, really jazzed about is women really redefining this next stage of life. Like I've had multiple careers in my, I'm going to be 50 this year. So I've had, 3 or 4, depending on how you count them. I've had 3 or 4 careers up till now. I love to reinvent myself all the time. And I can't imagine, like I imagine I'll have at least 1 or 2 more in the next 20 or 30 years. But I really think that we as women, we kind of begin thinking like, oh, we go to college and then we do this, and then we get married, and then we have kids, and then we buy the house, and then blah, blah, blah. And it's this whole mapped out sequence. And then I feel like a lot of women, by the time they hit like 39, 40, 41, 42, they kind of have this whole different standpoint. For some women, it's like, oh, this person I married, or this person I'm sharing my life with, it's not really working right now. Or is this it? Like, is this is it? Like, what do I have to look forward to now? Right? Like maybe you've had the kids, maybe you've gotten married, whatever. So I feel like this next stage is sort of third stage of life, priestess, as I call it. So we've got maiden and mother and priestess. Like, I feel like this third stage is really amazing. So I would love for women to feel very empowered by their body, by how their body works, by how their body functions, learning how to work with their body, because our bodies are a work of art. And then really think of her and really call herself like, and feel beautiful, empowered, and strong.
I really, really love that. And the rhetoric that is ingrained in society around menopause is just so full on. Like I hear it within my own family and friends, and I just love listening to the way that you talk about that in a completely different light, like that it is powerful and empowering, and that your body is always working for you, not against you. And it's just so good. So good.
I mean, look, I live it. I feel that. Like and I by no means am I one of those women who doesn't have hormonal symptoms. Like just because I know the goods, I'm not exempt from the feelings, right? Like I was having a moment in time where my body was not performing in the way that I wished it to be. So I had to next level. I had to find, I had been seeing this one specialist, and it wasn't working anymore. So I went out on a quest, and I found a new doctor who really specializes in female hormones. And because I am where I am, because I do what I do, because I know what I know, I came in with tests, blood work, and the herbs and supplements I was using. She was like, oh, okay. So with you, we're going to do this, and then we're going to try this, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to check on that. It was like I came in already at a level where she didn't have to start on the ground, right? We're already hovering up in where the kites fly, right? So that was kind of a really beautiful thing. And, the way she spoke to me was very different. Like a lot of times when I walk into a doctor's office, I mean, we're not walking into anything these days, but this was a virtual appointment. And a lot of times when I'm on an appointment with someone, I get a lot of questions like, what do you do? Are you a nurse? Like, because I don't ever try to show anybody or show the doctor what I know, but I come in with an understanding of how my body functions and what I take and why I take it. And that dialogue with the doctor, for some people, it's very threatening. And then they start using their tools. But with this, but it's not always like that. And it doesn't have to be like that. And so the next thing that I really would love for women to understand is not only how their body works, but how to have a really informed conversation with their doctor or healer or whatever, so that they get what they need. Not that we're not trying to show anybody up, and we're certainly not trying to put doctors out of business, but we want to get the care that we need, especially at this stage of life, because what we do now, what we understand now, sets the trajectory for our health. I mean, I'm working on bone density now while I still have a cycle. I'm working on vascular health now while I still have a cycle. And I can't wait till I'm 70. That's when it's done. You know what I mean? The damage that could have been prevented is already there.
Amazing. I love it. I love it so much. And like, what a privilege for that doctor to have you come in so informed. Like I can imagine it would be so satisfying for them because they can give you the next bit. Like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I desire, right? Like when I'm calling out to private clients, when I have spaces that open up and I call out to private clients, like that's who I'm calling in my voice and my meditation, in the ways I'm looking for those women who already have that base knowledge, because the information that I have is next level to good nutrition, good sleep, solid movement and exercise. Like that stuff is all amazing and wonderful. And I can coach anyone at any level. But when I get those next level women, they are so fun to work with. And the results, like we actually collapse time with results because they're already at a certain level. So that's another thing I would love that goes to your second question, which is like, what would I love? I'm calling in those next level women.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. And so, I mean, you've already alluded to this, but when did you start your business and why?
So the business I have now is not the business I started. So I started out, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. It took me like 3 years to get that diagnosis. And then all of the conventional medicine didn't work. So then I started having children, then they got into school. And then I was kind of like, I hit 42 and I was kind of like, okay, now what? I was one of those women who's like, okay, now what? Is this it? Like my kids are in school. What do I do all day? Like grocery shopping and having lunch with friends. Like that's only fun for about a year. And then I was like, what's next? Right. So that's when I began my medicinal chef business. So I originally started doing like working with very sick people around nutrition. So I would design their menus and then we would either cook the food or someone would cook it for them or they would cook it themselves. And so I did that for a year and I went into like one or two people's homes. And as I was working with them with the food, there were a lot of people who, even if the food was completely done for them, they still didn't want to eat it. There was still this block about, well, I don't want that. I actually really want to order takeout, McDonald's or whatever. And it was like, don't you understand that that's what's killing you? Like, that's why you're in this position. And so I found this really beautiful relationship in the talking about what was going on in their life, what's going on in their heads, why they are doing this rather than, eating the things that will actually help them to heal and feel better. And in that is where I sort of found the world of coaching. So this was like 2015. So I started and then that then I went deeper and I went and got, some more training around hormones and around testing and things like that. So this hormone business kind of morphed, but it really started in 2016. To answer your question, it was 2016.
No, I love it. And so I suppose I want to get a picture of like, what did your business look like in the beginning with regards to launching or just in general? And what does it look like now? Like, how has it developed over time?
Oh my gosh. Well, at the beginning, I had no idea what I was doing. And it was like the blind leading the blind. And so the very first quote unquote launch that I ever had was what is now, so I have this program called Feeding Over 40, which used to be called Fasting 101. Mm-hmm. So, and it was actually a huge success because, not a huge success. It was successful. It wasn't a huge success. I've never had more than like 10 people in the program, right? It's intimate, it's small. I like having smaller programs. I like being able to give a lot of people one-on-one attention if they need it and ask for it. So I like to keep my programs at like 10. So at the beginning, it was, between 5 and 10 people. And it would take me, like, I didn't even know, this whole online thing, like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. And back then it was just Facebook, right? Instagram was around, but I feel like people didn't use it for business, or maybe they did and I just didn't know. So I was really more Facebook. So I was just sort of going live on Facebook, creating posts and just sort of talking and telling my story and telling how powerful learning how to eat was for me and for my clients. So that's what launching used to look like. I really had no idea and I just did what was intuitive. Now I have a very small team that help me with graphics and help me with quote unquote launching, because now I have an email list and now I have, multiple platforms, and I've started what's called Harmony TV. So it's kind of like, a StreamYard. It's like a podcast without any of the work of the podcast. Like you just click the button and you do it, right? So that takes preparation. So I feel like what launching looks like now is I set a date and then I work backwards from there, and I just create graphics and I create usually a challenge or a master class or something that encourages people to come and be in my world for a day, 3 days, 5 days, and to really hear how I view life and to hear how I speak and to calibrate to my energy. Because I really believe that everything in business is about energy. Everything.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. And so another thing that I love to do in this particular series is kind of model out both the easy bits and the challenges, what works for you during those times. So in your business, easy is a loose definition, but what are the things that you need to do, either mindset, energetically, strategically, or practically? If you do those things, business will be easier.
So I have an innate belief and it gets stronger and better every month, right? But I have a belief that, so I had my own version of burnout like in 2 careers ago. And I didn't burn out because I was miserable. I literally burned out because I took too much work on. I was a set and costume designer. I designed shows and I had multiple assistants because I would take lots of shows at once. And I burned out because I took too much on. So I'm not the kind of person who is nervous or, I mean, of course I get nervous and scared. Of course, talking is, sometimes it's really fun. Sometimes it's really stressful, but I love it nonetheless. But I'm not the kind of person that kind of sits back and is quiet and doesn't talk. So that's not that's not an issue for me. What's an issue for me is taking on too many things in life and a launch. So that's usually, like, right now I'm in the middle of moving and taking care of my mom in the beginning of school. And I've decided to do a launch in like a week and a half. So it's like, I have to be really careful of my energy because I have my human design is such that I like to do, and I like to follow my intuition, which is really good for me, but it also is a weak spot for me because I tend to take on more than I physically should take on for my unique constitution. So
beautiful. So in planning out your launch, do you kind of carve out and like put other things aside off your to-do list and make sure that you're energetically available for it, or how do you do that?
So that's an intro. I'm still figuring that one out. But what I have done for the past 2 launches that I've done is I'm learning how to repurpose, because I am a creator and I'm learning how to repurpose. Like, I actually don't have to have a new, exciting, different thing every time. And I really believe that there's not a lot of people who do what I do, and they don't do it the way that I do it.
Yeah.
I actually believe that for everyone, but in my case, I really do believe that like what I do with health and hormones is different than the average health coach. So what I do is I lean back and I trust that the perfect women will hear me, that it will be the perfect time, that I will trigger some people, I will activate others, and I will spark others. Like, I will take, some women will be angered by me. Like, how can you be 49 and say that this is an amazing time of life? This sucks. I'm in pain. I'm in agony. I'm getting divorced. Everything sucks. Another woman might be like, oh my gosh, I'm like that too. Food changed my life. And so she starts hearing me and is like, I could do that. Yeah, I can do that. And then there's another woman who's like, yeah, I've done all that stuff. I want the next level. So like, there's all these different, everyone's on their own course, right? So I truly believe in the world that there are some people who I'm going to get really angry, but who I'm going to trigger, but that's going to make them think about their life differently, hopefully. And then there's the other women who are going to be in my world. I've brought them in. And then there's the women who are going to be like, I need you. And they jump in, no matter what the details are. They kind of don't care what the details are. They just know that it's the right time. And I have activated something in them, and they know, and they jump. So I sort of trust that process. And that does mean that in my business, I kind of do this, but the slant is almost always up. Yeah. But it's kind of like it does this rather than this and rather than this, because I'm not available for this. This does not work for me.
No, I love that so much. And I think like, from working with women in business similar to you, it's that whole getting better at the repurposing the content,
yes,
but not taking it out completely, because that's also what lights you up and keeps you running and what have you. Because I have seen people repurpose and structure themselves out of their element, like
yeah
like some people,
totally.
Some people need to keep creating to keep the momentum and the vibe happening. Yeah.
Yes, that is me. The creation mode is very fun. Even though every time I create something, it needs branding, it needs emails, it needs posts, so I'm very aware of that process. And so I try to be very respectful also to my team, who is constantly having to adapt because of my manifesting generator tendencies, which is I get an idea and I want to act on it like in 3 hours. That is my personality.
I love that. Okay, so what about your aha moments for the challenging times in business or in launching? Like, what are your go-tos, or what have your aha moments been through the challenging times where you're like, it's almost like you have to remind yourself, aha, I need to do that thing.
Here's what I've learned in business, and I'm good. I think it will answer that question, but if it doesn't, just pull me back in. Here's what I've learned. When I invest in myself, whether that is taking a self-study course, whether that is being in a mastermind with other women, whether that is being in a private coaching situation, like I have a business coach. I also have an energetic coach. Like I have, I'm always working. I'm not always, this is part of my answer, is that usually I think, oh, I've got this. I can do this. Like, I'm good. Like this program ran out or this coaching package ran out. I'm just going to take a break. I'm going to do it on my own. And I do that for a couple of months and everything's going good, going well. And then I realize like, oh, I feel a bit lonely. I feel a bit bored. I feel a bit stagnant. I am activated by being around other women who are doing not what I'm doing, but the way in which I'm doing it. And I love to be around women who are like 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. So they're doing the things that I want to do in the future, because that helps me to see what I can take on, to see what's available for me, to see, it also helps me see where I'm holding myself back, like where my thoughts are limiting my growth, who I think I can be and how fast I think it can happen. We can grow and call in and manifest at warp speed, but we have to have it comes in at a path of least resistance, and we have to be energetically able to hold that. I mean, like, for example, like if I had 100 people come in to Feeding Over 40 next round, we would crumble because my team isn't set up for 100 people, like to actually take on 100 people. So energetically, I know this to be true. And I know that I need to start thinking about, if I want to scale, I need to have the team behind me before the numbers come in so that we're ready, everybody's on the same page, and I'm supported, because I energetically believe I can't call in that amount of people if I'm not supported. That's how I feel. I'm not saying that's true for everybody, but I know me, and I know all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes in my life, like flying here. I'm going on a retreat in October with Bespoke Wine. So like, if I didn't have a team supporting me while I was on this retreat, like I couldn't do that, Yeah. So that's kind of an interesting, and that's really, I figured this out over the past like year, maybe I wouldn't even say year and a half. It's really been the past year that I've started investing in my business at a very high level. Like I'm really investing, and it's exciting and dynamic, and I'm not scared of it. I used to be scared of it. It used to really like butterflies in the tummy kind of feeling,
Yeah, definitely. And it's that whole idea of saying yes to support. I have definitely, like ourselves, because I've definitely felt that in my business where I was supporting I've had probably a year and a half ago now. I had this epiphany where I was supporting all these other women in business, and I was like, but I'm not allowing myself to be supported. I need me for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
So I would love to pick your brain. Are there any women in business who you would like me to interview to get the behind the scenes on their business? Like, is there anyone that you in particular want to hear from? It's fine if you can't think of anyone on the spot. You can get back to me.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
And whilst Michelle's thinking, if you're watching us right now, please chat in the comments and say hello to us. We would love to have a chat with you. And if you catch us on the replay, please put #replay. We would love to come back and have a chat to as many people as possible.
Can
you think of anyone?
I can think of a few, and they're coaches that I've worked with in the past. So
Yeah.
it's definitely like, you know, a little bit of sisterhood here. But Joanna Hunter is amazing.
Yep.
And Stephanie Houston. Do you know Stephanie Houston? She's a business coach. She's doing incredible things. And Amy Elizabeth, who's a human design coach, mentor. I guess all these women are calling themselves mentors these days. I call myself a health advisor because I don't really coach. I advise, you know? Yeah.
Well, you have so much knowledge that we want to pick your brains on. So good. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your behind the scenes on your business. It's so good to chat and to catch up. I've done your Feeding Over 40 program, and it is incredible for anyone who wants to check it out. The stuff that I learned, it's next level nutrition advice for hormones, really. So, and even though I'm not, like, I love that even though I'm not over 40, it was still so helpful for me.
Yeah. I'm so glad to hear that. It's really, I've had so many people who were 30, you know, I've had women in their late 20s. I've had women in their mid to late 30s. I've had women in their 60s and 70s. Like, I just say feeding over 40 because that's my sweet spot, is like getting women who are like 40 to 50. But yeah, thank you for that.
And
I loved having you.
It's such a good example of niching, right? By saying feeding over 40, you're not saying you're not going to work with people on either side of that. That's just showing your sweet spot, right? And then
exactly
you out. Such a
exactly
example of niching. Cool. Well, I would love for the people in my community to be able to come and check you out, come and stalk you, lovingly stalk you. There are so many places that they can do that. Can you share your group and any freebies you've got on offer, and also how they might be able to work with you on a one-to-one or group program, paid basis?
Sure.
Just so that they can come and check you out.
Sure, thanks. Right now, I have a Facebook group called Hormone Mastery Over 40, but you do not have to be 40 to be in there. It's just that the hormones really shift around 40. Yeah, Anthea's in there. So that's my free Facebook group. And then I also have a masterclass. It's a 3-day, although I'm probably going to make it 4 days if I'm being fully honest. It's going to be a 3 to 4 day masterclass coming up this Thursday, September 16th. But you have to sign up. And that sign up is, I give out the...
You can give me the link later and I'll add it, but give it now.
Okay, cool. So it's my website, michelleaspinwall.com/the art of mastery. And so there's a little sign up, and it directs you to a separate Facebook group that is not Hormone Mastery Over 40. So that is that. And on my website, I have a blog, I have Harmony TV, which is also all very free. And then that's where you can see any digital courses. I have digital courses ranging from like $7 to $200. And then of course, all of my hormone testing and private coaching and things like that are all on my website. And that's michelleaspinwall.com.
Amazing. And Michelle just does the most incredible lives. So connected. No, but you do. Even if you're not interested in the work that she does, which I kind of think most of my audience will be, but even if you're not interested in the work that she does, Michelle is a really good person to model in terms of really connected Facebook lives, like really showing up as your authentic self. And I often just pop on to hang out with Michelle.
Thank you, Anthea. That's so sweet of you.
So good. And you've got like quite an Aussie following, don't you?
I do. It's incredible. I met several women through a group that I was in, a book, like a multi-author book. And it's just kind of like grown tentacles. It's gorgeous. I'm like dying to do a retreat in Australia. I'm dying. So
yeah. Well, I found you through Miranda and Bebsy. And
Mm-hmm.
I know they are massive champions of yours. So
love them.
And I've referred you to other people. So I mean, I've referred other people to you. Aussie retreat, here we come. Once we can fully travel again, hey?
Yeah, totally.
Can you imagine how grateful we're going to be when we like?
I am going to land and kiss the ground. I'm going to be like, you know, Joan of Arc or something. I'm going to land on Australian soil because I absolutely love Australia. Like that is like second home to me. And my best friend lives there, and I just am going to land and like kiss the motherland and do a retreat and have my products, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
So good. So good. I just think like I don't get really into talking about COVID online, but I do love the like when I get to be able to do the things that I previously did, I am going to be so grateful. Like, the gratitude is just going to be up leveled like tenfold.
Yeah.
Stuff that I took for granted that I didn't even know.
Exactly. I just want to gather all of my women, all of my online women, and just like hug everybody. Like I mean, if I love Zoom, but I mean, good God, if I have to do another Zoom, I you know, it's like, I'm ready for touch and interaction and the sharing of divine feminine energy, like deep feminine connection. So I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah. And I am speaking at the Heart Centered Business Conference, and I don't even know how many times it's been. I think it's been rescheduled twice, and it's due to go ahead in March next year. Oh my God, you should come to that. And I just am like, imagine if it actually goes ahead.
Yeah.
Good luck to try and social distance us. We'll be hugging the bejesus out of people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're amazing.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. It's been just such a pleasure to see the behind the scenes of your business, and you're a shining light in your industry. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
And if anyone does have any questions for Michelle, make sure that you pop them in the comments, because I know that Michelle will more than come back.
I'll completely be in the comments. I'll answer any questions anybody has.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.